So today I'm going to be answering some questions in this vlog. They're going to be who would be the audience for my media project, which is a magazine, and how did I attract / address this audience. So first of all, I'll be talking about where the people that would read my magazine would live. So basically, I think it'll be targeted, as I've said previously, for people that live in towns and cities. Mostly because it includes things that are very mainstream, like all the mainstream music that is mentioned. It's based on bands such as Green Day and 21 Pilots, who are bands that are really relevant, really popular within cities. And the reason they're popular within cities is because that's where most mainstreamers live. So for mainstreamers, as that's a target person, it means that based on research, I know that is where they would genuinely live, because you're going to be exposed to media all the time in a city. You're going to always going to have resources. You're always going to be surrounded by these bands. So, linking off from that, as it does mention mainstreamers, you can also say that conflicting to this, it's targeted at hipsters, because alternative music can be considered something that isn't very mainstream at the minute. It's not as big as pop music or grime or other subgenres like that. But for the people that do listen to the alternative music, I would say it is mainstream for them. It's mainstream within the subcategory of alternative music. So Green Day and 21 Pilots may not be the most popular bands within all of music, in mainstream music, but they are the most mainstream bands within alternative. And now I'm going to talk about the gender of the people that would read my magazine. I would say it is both male and female, but I can see how it would slightly weigh towards the male, because with the magazine, within alternative music and rock music, it is quite common for it to be predominantly male people that listen to it. Stereotypically, it's normally quite, if you're into rock, for example, it's normally quite butch men who are into it, and girls are stereotypically into more pretty, pop, happy music. And obviously, stereotypically again, alternative music is quite well known for being quite down and quite harsh and to the point, really. However, I would conflict with that, because within my magazine there are a lot of pictures of males, and I think that's, if you're going based on a stereotypical female thing for straight females anyway, you're going to be attracted by the men in there. I've made sure that they're not wearing like jackets, they're wearing like quite tight tops, so that it does attract them female people too. And also 21 Pilots, I've researched into it, and it's 62% of their listeners are female, so, and obviously the other percentage are male. So it can attract both genders, but I do understand how it might sway more towards the male gender. Going on to sexuality, I'd say that it's a mixture. It doesn't really have any mention of sexuality in there, so I don't see how it can offend anyone of a different sexuality, because nothing's been mentioned, so it can't offend anyone. And at the same time, it doesn't attract a certain gender, because there isn't any colour imagery in there that would attract you like there is for the men, because obviously blue is used throughout. There isn't any like pink or any different colour imagery. So it's not going to attract a certain sexuality, but it isn't going to repel a certain sexuality either. Then going on to the class, I would say this links in again with the like demographics of this whole magazine, that it would be the people that live in town and cities are going to be around middle class. You're less likely to find lower class, but it is going to cover a wider range than what it would if it was like for like villages and stuff like that. So I'd say the main class would be low to middle, because it does use a lot of informal language and slang, which isn't popular within higher classes, because you're more well respected and you've got a better education and stuff like that. So it is definitely aimed at a lower to middle, but it definitely isn't completely informal. There are some elements, so I'd say that overall it'd be a middle class person, and they need to be around that middle class in order to live in the towns and the cities. And I think that's it. Then we'll go on to how I've attracted them and everything like that. I have mentioned it briefly. With the towns and the cities, I've used mainstream music. It's everything that is popular in the media anyway. So I'm just feeding more information to what I know is wanted based on other magazines such as like NME and Kerrang and other things like that. Then there's who the people are, like the characteristics and what they would be defined as. So again, the hipsters and the mainstreamers. It is two conflicting audiences, but I think I do, like I've said previously, attract them in two different ways. The design is very sleek and very professionally looking, which is something very popular at the minute with mainstreamers. And mod music is becoming a lot more popular, like things to do with hipsters. So I think that's definitely been shown through the red and the blue colour imagery. And again, the hipsters, because alternative music is less popular, it is considered to be hipster now. And then the male and female, again, the colour imagery for the blue, there isn't too much colour imagery for the female, but I have attracted it by using more male models. And for class, it's the mixture of informal and formal language. So yeah, I think that's everything.